obviously that's because of your church background. Were you exposed to any scientific evidence by your pastors or youth leaders to support the biblical account of creation?
No. My whole family's Christian, but we didn't really go to church that much, so.
When it comes to creation or evolution, what would you say you believe in more?
Evolution.
Right. Were you ever raised in a Christian background in the church at all?
Yes, I was.
In your church background, were you ever exposed to any scientific evidence by your church leaders, pastors? Did they have a creation group in who presented any information to you that gave you the idea that creation might be scientifically viable?
No, I don't believe so.
Do you still attend church today at all?
On the major holidays, Christmas, Easter. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. So was there any weight of evidence or any strong argument that kind of, gave you a aha moment that you kind of realised evolution might be true?
So I guess around middle school when they first introduced it, just seemed like that was a bit more logical and seemed like.
Right. What type of area of science, though? Was it something like, fossils, genetics, or in your area, physics, distant starlight issues?
Genetics. So, seeing how the genes were changing over time, that was kind of well, it's happening. We can't say it's not. So.
It's just like some animals just change over time, just in general. It's like if you just look at some animals change, it happens.
You can do mutations, natural selection, all that sort of stuff as much as you like. It's not going to change one basic kind of organism into something else. But evolutionists commonly use a trick to convince people that evolution is real. And this trick goes like this. I see evolution happening in my lab. It's a fact, says the professor at university. Now what's the student think when he hears that? Student thinks this sort of evolution. Microbes to mankind. What you observe in the lab, I have no problem with. But it doesn't extrapolate to microbes to man evolution. And this is called equivocation. Equivocation. It's changing the definition of a word in mid-sentence. So they define evolution as change, and things change, so therefore evolution is a fact. What they mean by evolution, the second definition, is change from microbes to mankind and everything else in between. It's a trick used in debating, a very deceitful trick.
I think that the genetic sequence can change over time, over millions and billions of years.
The other thing is supposed to create the information as natural selection, and it's pretty clear to understand, pretty easy to understand why it doesn't work. It doesn't actually add information. Just to give you an illustration. Here's a couple of friendly looking wolves, and the red things look like firecrackers, represent genes that determine hair length. The one with all the hair coming out of it, that says grow long hair. The other one says grow short hair. They don't look like that, of course. Remember, they're a letter sequence on the DNA. So in reproduction, of course, got about 25,000 pairs of genes, but just one pair, for example, determining hair length. So if we get a short hair gene with a short hair gene, we end up with a short hair wolf, unlike mum and dad, which are medium length hair because they've got a gene which says make short hair and a gene which says make long hair, so they're in between. If you take a short hair gene with a long hair gene, you get ones just like mum and dad. If you get two long hair genes together, what do you get? You get a long haired wolf. Right. Which wolves are best adapted to cold conditions? It's no trick question, it's pretty simple. The long-haired ones, so the short hair and the medium-length hair ones get killed off. This is natural selection. Natural selection kills things that aren't fit to survive. That's what it's about, death of the unfit, right? So we end up with a long-haired wolf, which is now adapted to survive in cold conditions, and when they reproduce, what sort of offspring can they have? Only long-haired wolves, can't they? Because they've lost the gene for short hair. So we get lots of long-haired wolves which are adapted to cold conditions. Now this is natural selection in action. This happens in today's world. But folks, that is not evolution. That is not changing microbes into eagles or anything like that. It's just getting rid of ones that don't have the right genes. It doesn't create anything. Only mutations theoretically create anything. As we've seen, they destroy stuff. Random changes destroy things. Sometimes they're beneficial, but they're still destroying things. And so this is a fundamental problem.
Now, the problem is bigger still, because of course we already know that we're mortal, but we transmit a certain fraction of our mutations to our children, and they add more mutations to it, and then they pass it on to their children, and then they add more mutations still, and they add it to the next generation. So this is a problem not just for people, but for the whole human race. And logically, the human race should be devolving, not evolving. Basically, the human race is degenerating, the human genome is rusting out like a car.
Can natural selection solve this problem? No. Think of a room full of people. Now kill off only the ones with the worst or most obvious mutations. What do you have left? Ceremonial